Okay, Meredith.
Joe, so much has been made about this offense. You get a 4-run lead early, and you're not able to hold it. How tough is this one?
Well, I mean, they're all tough. When you're struggling, they're all tough. But, you know, we had some chances to add on. We weren't able to do it. We had a chance to, you know, to tie the game. We weren't able to do that. And you know, the guys are doing everything they can. But right now we're just not getting it done.
You obviously got the big hit in that inning with Ellsbury's home run. But aside from that lately, why do you think your guys haven't been able to come up with the big hits?
Well, when you're struggling as an offense, that's what happens. I mean, if you were getting the big hits, you wouldn't be struggling, and you go through it. You know, we haven't hit the ball out of the ballpark much, and that's, you know, it's hard to score a lot of runs when you don't do that. And we get one tonight. We get 3 quick ones in a sense, and it makes it 4-0, but we weren't able to hold the lead.
You had to use Ramirez in a tough spot there, major league debut. Was that just a product of not having Betances and not having Warren?
Yeah, and I was going to close with Warren tonight. I think Robertson's thrown about 70 pitches in 4 days, and Betances has thrown 50 in 3 days. So I was going to close with Warren, and it's a product of not having your bullpen set up the way you want. Kid did okay.
Kenny, Mark.
Joe, I imagine you heard about Don Zimmer passing. Just, I know how close you were to him. Your thoughts?
Great baseball man, baseball lifer, was a mentor to me. Had him 10 out of my first 11 years in the big league. So wherever he went, I went. Always thought he looked like my grandfather. Built a lot alike, same height, same forearms. You know, it was my grandfather had a full head of white hair, though. That was probably the biggest difference. He taught me a lot about this game. A close friend, and I'm going to miss him.
Mark.
Joe, what's your relationship been like with him for the last few years? When's the last time you spoke with him?
I spoke to him right before he had his heart surgery, which would have been a couple of weeks ago. My relationship has continued to be the same. Talked to him all the time on the phone, would see him every time we went to Tampa. Would see him sitting in the stands during the game, and it's going to be really strange not to see him. But our relationship has always been close, and as I said, I looked at him as a mentor, and he taught me a lot about this game, and gave me my first opportunity. I'll never forget that. Told me with a week to go that I'd made the club in 1989 and couldn't tell anybody. And I'm thinking, how am I going to do that? I was scared to death to tell anyone. I really was. The only person I told was Kim. I waited a few days to tell my father because I knew he wouldn't be able to keep a hush-hush. But it's going to be really strange not to see him.
We just put out a statement from Hal a moment while you guys were in here. Anyone else? Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, there's so much that I learned from him. I mean, Zim was a guy that managed a lot of different ways. You know, he managed the game depending on sometimes the ballparks, sometimes the wind, sometimes on the type of team you had. Was not afraid to take risk. Was not afraid to get on anyone as a player, you know, whether it was a superstar. He went with his gut sometimes, you know, and I think as a manager you have to do that. When you see something, I think sometimes you have to go with your gut. And, you know, there's just so many funny stories, you know, whether it was he yelled at me for wearing a thumb guard one day and apologized to me the next day because he felt bad and said he didn't sleep the whole night. Playing cards against him and him getting on his partner, he was competitive. And I think it's one of the things he taught me, you know, it's okay to be competitive, you know, things that you do besides the game. And he liked to have fun. I mean, that was Zim. I saw Zim dance on a table after we came from behind and won a game, and table broke and snapped, and here came Zim down. I'll never forget the first time he sent me down. He told me, he said, "Don't worry, kid, you'll be here longer than I will." It wasn't much longer, but I came back up, and I think he was gone in '92, and then I joined him in '93 in Colorado. But there's just so many great stories, and a wonderful wife and a wonderful family.
Okay.